Hi, it's Rebecca. It's been a while, I feel like, since I've done a recorded reading. I am finishing up round 2 of an antibiotic, well, a different antibiotic this time, for a sinus, ear, and respiratory infection that has been going on for a while. My first stage of not feeling well is denial. It always has been. And then after that, it starts to get on my chest, and I know I have to take care of the problem. So please excuse me if my voice is still a little raspy. Plus, I just finished recording a very lengthy video message for a family member because an ancestor requested that I do. And that was a little scary because I am somebody who I'm not going to do a reading or try to push information on you if you're not coming to me and asking me to. But at the same time, I have always tried to honor that if Spirit wants a message to be delivered, that I try to find a way that I'm able to. And as I have embraced myself more, messages come through more freely. And sometimes Spirit, as I talked about in one of my recent videos about a reading I did with a client, have messages that they really want to push forward. And this ancestor had been showing me things and talking about or telling me that they wanted for this person to know certain things. I was reluctant, and actually that reading and the message from that person's father is what sparked my understanding that it was important for me to share that information. I gave full disclosure in what I'm going to be sending to the person, what the message is, because again, I never would want to impose myself and something on someone else. But here's the thing. When Spirit has messages that they want to share, they don't just do it. They may joke, but it's usually important. This is where I see a lot of healing that comes from sharing these messages, because there are things that they understand differently once they have passed than how they see it and understand it and experience while they're here. And it's the same for us. And one of the big things that has come through in many of these messages is they want to help with breaking those generational cycles that create problems and keep us stuck. They want to help to say, I am sorry that I couldn't do this in life, but you need to know that this is how I see you. I wasn't able to say this, but this is what I feel. So, I don't know, that felt important to share. When it comes to mediumship, I even have a video on YouTube, and I can take a screenshot and show you the title if you want to go check that out. Empathic Crow 1111 is my handle. And that video is, you don't have to be a medium or psychic to make connections. You can make connections with Spirit just by paying attention and not doubting yourself. If you see a feather or a bird or a butterfly and you think of that loved one, and then you're like, oh, well, it's spring, so of course I would see these things, or whatever it is. Or you find a penny and you're like, oh, somebody just dropped it. If it meant something to you, it's a message. We all have intuition. We may not be as connected to it. We may not trust it as much. It's part of our survival skills. Animals have intuition. Children have intuition. Children say the things that they intuitively know, sense, whatever, until people tell them not to. So it feels like that was something somebody needed to hear. So we're going to go ahead and move forward. I was going to start with tarot, but the two decks that really felt important are the Inner Child Oracle, and this is by Amanda Lynn Ailsling. And actually, here it is. Actually, there are 3. This generic love oracle cards also was something that was coming through, and I feel like that's because the messages in this tend to be more like straightforward and a bit more cutting edge in some ways. And then the Intuitive Whispers Oracle by Maud Hurst. Really having an ancestral connection today going on, and I wasn't sure I was going to use this because I know I've used it quite a bit recently, but it was right beside me and I was being drawn to it. So we're going to start with the love oracle card deck. Now, I've said before when I've used this to keep in mind that love is not just romantic love. Love can be the love that you have for a friend, a family member, the love between a parent and a child. It can be romantic love as well, but that may not be what it is for you. And if this reading doesn't fit, this is a general reading. So if it doesn't fit, I know as other people say, don't try to force it. But if it does, or if some of the messages resonate for you, like you feel called and drawn to them, or they make sense, or you feel a sensation that comes up when you hear something in the message, pay attention and think about what it means to you. That's always, and that feels important. Karma is the card that came out. And loyalty, shoot, that feels important too. Dang it. All right, we're taking the cards off the bottom of the deck. It's not the way that I usually do it, but I go with the flow. This way I tell you I am an intuitive empath. I am an intuitive reader. I am an intuitive medium. I go off my intuition for everything. So even if a card may have a different meaning, it may mean something different for you. So this is what we're doing, at least for right now. So the first card that came out is Karma. And it's consequences, causes and effect, and debts. So debts, not even financially, but debts that we pay. And that can be through generations. So that phrase, the sins of the father, and I can't remember the full thing, but basically it becomes the burden of the children or the other family members, or the sins of the mother, whoever it is. With karma, and some people don't believe in karma, but it's basically just been expressed in so many things. What you do comes back to you. What you do has a consequence. It may be a positive consequence and good things happen. It may be a negative consequence, but what you do will come back to you. We can't dictate when, how, why, or what. It's not my job to judge you. It's not my job to put a consequence on you. If you have a consequence, like, you schedule with me and then, you don't show up for the appointment, or it's not an emergent situation, or whatever is going on, and you get charged the fee that's in the service contract and in the disclaimer and disclosure, all that stuff, that's a natural consequence, and a consequence that you knew. That's not me getting back at you. I have no worry about or thought that you're doing anything intentionally, and I may be a Scorpio, but I could care less about revenge. I just don't want the drama. I am not possessive. I love people, but if you don't want to be in my life, that's okay. What's the other thing Scorpios usually get a bad rep for? Jealousy. I'm not jealous either. Again, if you have something, I'm happy for you, like genuinely happy for you. And if it's something that I want, you've just motivated me to figure out a way that I can do similar, or figure out what I can do to get things that I want too. So this is where your sun sign is not the only sign that makes an impact. Maybe somebody needed to hear that. This is where I say I'm not good at short readings, because if it's coming through, I'm saying it. But yeah, with the karma and the debts and things like that, this is part of what those two messages were for, breaking those generational traumas, those generational burdens and pains and things, and understanding that sometimes we do carry a karma that is not from our actions, but at the same time, or we do incur consequences that aren't from our actions, but our responses 100% are what we control. With this loyalty card, it feels like, just from themes that have been running recently and the way that these three cards that I got, the other one's escaping, shoot, yeah, dude. We may even, we're just going to continue pulling off the bottom of the deck. Loyalty, trusting, relatability, and believing. So with this is feeling more like that part of, and this is a black and white image too, which is interesting. We have the color in all of these cards. But with this image, it's like not loyalty in a way that it's necessarily the best thing. So it still can be, hey honey, it still can be compassionate. One of my dogs is walking around, because bless them, I told them I was going to try to do a short reading because they have not had my attention all day long. You know how that goes if you're a dog lover. Dogs are very loyal. But this is more like loyalty to a fault. Loyalty where you give and give and give and give. and you're not getting things in return, but you feel like it's the expectation, or it's the way that you show your worth to other people. The way that you are worthy to other people is that you're loyal and you're always there. But notice, again, with these colors, it's not bringing you that joy. It's not pulling in that vibrancy, that passion. And so this is how this is feeling. So if this were like, if you do tarot and reversals, this would, or even with the oracle, this would be reversed. This is not loyalty in the way that it feels good. And that a lot of coping skills leading to this karma and this false sense of loyalty, or this unhealthy sense of loyalty, like lack of boundaries and pushing yourself to the extreme, is because of escaping, trying to avoid, blocking, and pushing away. So what I mean by that, and notice there's not a lot of color in that card either. What I mean by that is, with the escaping, that people pleasing, that lack of boundaries, the trying to be everything to everyone, trying to please everybody, that's a survival mechanism. It is an unhealthy coping skill. It is an avoidance of the feared consequences. If you fear that not doing things or not being everything to everyone that you want to know you care about them would lead to a consequence that they would either leave you or reject you or whatever, then you're trying to escape those consequences by avoiding things that make you uncomfortable. You following me now? So this is where the family comes in. Now it says fertility, parenthood, and pregnancy. And this is breaking those generational traumas. Notice, very similar images here with the female outside and looking up. But look at the difference here. Like, I almost see this person as if they're kind of like praying or looking for answers. Whereas for this person, yes, they're leaned back because they're pregnant, and that's, you know, a heavy burden is not the word I'm looking for, but it's a heavy thing to carry, you know? You may love your child all day long, but the sacrifice, the love, and the things that we need to do for our children, especially when we are putting that energy into other places as well, can be a heavy thing to carry. And especially if you feel like, because of these generational traumas, that you have to carry it alone. That's difficult. But notice the peace in this card, because you are breaking, or you're trying to break, or you're thinking about how you can break. You are doing something. Whoever this reading is for, you are doing something to try to break out of this cycle. You've got to let go of the cloudy judgment. Because of the things that have happened, your perception and your judgment of things has been cloudy. It's been off. And it's not that you're not intelligent. You are. It's not that you don't even know at times what's going on. It's that you have been programmed. You have received from those messages of society, from those family messages, from those messages from friends, whatever it is, from the expectations or perceived expectations, that you have to buy into the unbalanced and distorted ways that we have been taught to live, where we put our own happiness on the back burner, or that there are people who, because they do things for themselves, they're selfish. There's a fine line, I get it, between being selfish and self-care. But the person that this message is for, you have a family history and you are one of the ones that's bought into it, where you put yourself on the line time and time and time again, despite how people respond to you, whether they're loyal or not, but you are. And the cloudy judgment is that you have thought that for you, 14:44 on the clock, for you to say, I need this, or to express your emotions, to take up space, to pull away if you need to, not in a way of escaping, but to take care of yourself. For you to do anything that's not thinking of other people, that it's not okay, that you're wrong. And that's the illusion. That's the illusion, and it's this distorted view. So it looks like that is as far as we're going with 15:15 on the clock. As far as we're going with this deck, at least for that, from the bottoms. I'm going to go ahead and shuffle through just to see if we get anything else. But it's feeling like that is our stopping point with the Love Oracle. And guys, remember with love too, I don't remember if I said this, but love is also self-love, like loving yourself. I know that I am much better at that now, but I have never been somebody who was very good at it in the past. I can't make this stuff up. Like, part of the reason that I have the camera looking at me, one, I feel like even though I can't see you, as I'm speaking, like, it's a connection. It's all connected. It's all energy. But also, so you see how I'm pulling these cards and what's going on, because I feel like sometimes it helps to see I am not just setting. I know other tarot readers that I've watched. There are lots of tarot readers I've watched and mediums that I can just tell. I'm like, dang, that's legit. And they may have the camera just pointed at their cards so you can see the cards, and sometimes they're already out there. But I promise you, if you pay attention, you will know who's legit and who's not. But I love that this shows you I'm not BSing you, because what's going on is happening right in front of your eyes. I do not edit my videos. I think there are a couple of times where I had to like pull something out, or I'll put like a photo overlay so you can see what I'm talking about, things like that. But as far as content, I don't edit the videos. There was the one video I had where I had to pull something out because for some reason, and there probably was a message in it, I got something mixed up. The two cards that came out were Apology with these red roses, and it says Forgiveness, Return, and Sorry. And that is the message for both of my client and for this family member, that the ancestors that they have wanted for them to hear as an apology. I am sorry that when I was alive, I wasn't able to give you the love that you needed. I wasn't able to validate you in the way that would be helpful. I was not able to see that what I was doing was hurtful. I was not able to see it from an outside perspective. So understand that this apology could be you apologizing to others, but it's also you being able to accept that with or without an apology from someone, it is okay for you to release those emotions. This is where we say forgiveness is not something that you do for the other person. Forgiveness, is that one of the words on this? No, which is interesting. Oh no, it is on the apology. Forgiveness is your gift to yourself, that you are going to release the hurt, the pain, the emotions that you're holding on to. It's still going to hurt, but that you don't let it control your life. So releasing, letting go, moving on, and walking away. And you don't have to completely walk away, especially if this is a situation with somebody that you love, but you can love from a distance. You can set your boundaries. And if they're not respected and this person is still living, then you can 100% cut it out, walk away, do what you need to do to protect yourself. All right, so that is the Love Oracle, and I'm feeling called to go to the Inner Child Oracle now, so we will do that. I know I say short readings and then I make 18, almost 19 minutes, but let's do this. I always say if the messages need to come out, they're going to. So if you want someone who is really good at giving you a shorter, to the point message that has been received and processed already, or being delivered in a way that you're not having to follow the trails and all the extras that come in while I'm channeling. My brother, he has a new page, and I'll share that too. I'll put the link, but it's the Seer's Altar, but it's a different page than he had before. I think I may have reposted one of his posts earlier. If not, I will do that. He is really good at receiving the messages and then giving them in a much more succinct and for a lot of people, a way that they feel they can connect with, because our attention spans have gotten much less with technology and also all the demands that we have. So I don't take offense if I am not the person for people to receive messages from. The readers that I tend to watch, they are a lot like me. I mean, for me, I want the full story. Give me the tea. Let me know what's going on. Be real with me. Tell me what I need to hear. Tell me what's going on. That's what I like. And my brother, he can do that too, like tell you what you need to hear. But I feel like that's a message for me right now, and also a message for you. But he's really good at delivering the message, like I said, in a more concise way that's powerful and strong. And so you get the point of it more quickly than you might from this. With my readings and stuff and messages or downloads, channeled information, whatever you want to call it, some of it I get beforehand and I share it with you. But when I'm doing tarot or oracle, it's in the moment, and you're going to get like the whole thing. The whole enchilada is what I just heard. I don't know who that's from, but that was funny. All right, so the card that I got, and the reason I laughed is it is card 7, Breathe In. Practice breath work today. And I laughed because I was on a roll of trying to not have an incredibly long video and talking super fast to try to get all the information out, and I realized I was not breathing while I did that. Not very much. So yeah, taking a moment to ground, which the gemstones that I had over here are these 2 smoky quartz spheres. My brother actually did give these to me. I have small hands, so I can't move them around like the Chinese balls. I can't remember what they're called. That may be what they're called. But they are very good for like fidgeting with and grounding. Smoky quartz is grounding in general, but having that sphere and something to move around is great. So breathing in, being mindful, and grounding yourself so that you can release some of the stuff. Also, that pause allows you to think before you react. Like I said, you can't control all the things that happen, what people say, what they do, how they act, what the personality is, what they learned, blah, 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 whatever, what their defense trauma mechanisms are. The only thing you can control is how you respond, and that's hard sometimes. So pause and take a breath. Anything else that we need to hear from that inner child? Sometimes people's inner child defense mechanism is to react. That's why you will see people looking like they are just constantly barking at others, or they'll seem kind of childlike in their response. Like you say, what's coming to me is like from childhood when people would say things like, I know you are, but what am I? It's stupid. It's childish, right? And there are people who do that because they're not pausing. I don't know why my video just paused. That was weird as I say pause. I don't know if that's going to have recorded, but I saw it and it was strange. Anyway, maybe I was just reiterating the point. There's been a lot of strange things today, maybe because I've channeled a lot today. But anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, so people often are responding from whatever defense mechanism they created in childhood when they are triggered by that trauma, whether it's that they feel like somebody's upset at them or they're upset at somebody. So you may have people who go into the people pleasing, or they kind of shrink, they don't say much, they escape. People are like barking at other people or doing things to try to not allow others to get one up on them, even if the person isn't trying to. So get out of those childish defenses by pausing, taking a deep breath, considering how you're feeling, what's going on, what do you even want to say, and then what do you feel is the best choice of how to respond. If we would practice that pause a bit more, we probably would have a lot less conflict. We'll just be honest. All right, the cards are not wanting to shuffle very well. Is there anything else that is coming from this inner child oracle? We'll do a couple more shuffles. I told you I can't do very short readings because I'm going to go with flow of whatever it is. And not that other people don't, but they're really good at just channeling the message and giving it to you. I'm giving it to you in real time. This was on the bottom of the deck a moment ago when I looked down, and it just fell out. So like I said, I can't make this crap up. I know you hear that from other readers if you watch them, but I can't make this crap up. So this card is 43, which is also 4 and 3 is a 7. 7 is a very sacred and spiritual number. And you are being called right now to really focus. And at 25 minutes, I said that. So 2 and 5 is 7. 777, guys. If this is resonating with you, this is a message for you. Okay? I think it's similar to a message, funny enough, that my brother delivered recently. But of course, like I said, it was a shorter message, more direct and to the point. 43, you do not have to go it alone. Reach out for support at this time. So we see in this card a castle that's crumbling. This is kind of similar to the image that you might see on the Tower card in the tarot. So knowing that even though there may be people that you may not be sure if they support you or they trust you or you even trust them, that despite these people that you felt like you have to escape and you know there's this cloudy judgment and forgiving and things, just as you have helped other people and you've been there for them, you deserve to have people help you and for them to be there for you. Did I say that right? And that it's okay to ask for help. Again, coming from someone who has really struggled in my life to ask for help. I usually do not tell people all the incredible struggles that I have been through in my life until after I've already survived them, until after I've already figured it out myself. And then I know for sure I'm telling you, but I'm coming from a place where I've already dealt with it. And so I know that hopefully you're not going to feel like you have to help me. You're not going to feel bad for me. I don't have to worry that I'm burdening you or bothering you because I've already dealt with it. I'm just sharing it to try to help you because I know you're going through a difficult situation. And one of the blessings of burnout was that I had to learn to lean on my husband. I had to learn to ask for help. I had to learn to share things that I usually would have kept inside with people like the owner of the business where I work and things like that. And what loving and supportive people I had in my life that I would have given so much for, given so much to them, and not realize that I had people. So breathe, take a breath, consider your options. Think about who are the people that are going to be supportive of you. What are the things that you need to focus on? What are the things you need to let go of? And who do you feel like you can trust? And allow yourself to reach out. Allow yourself to be vulnerable. Vulnerability is hard. That's probably part of why people get so defensive. They don't want to be vulnerable. They're afraid that other people are going to think less of them or are going to judge them. And that in itself is that cloudy judgment. Like you're judging yourself. I think it's saying let's let that one go, right? All right, anything else from the Inner Child Oracle? I love this message. I know it's longer than what I anticipated. The girls are being so good, my dogs, in their patience. Even Miss Lizzie, 80 plus pounds. We don't know. She's some hound mix. She looks like a Jack Russell with a lab body. Personality galore. Even she went and settled back down. We'll take the card off the bottom of the deck. Actually, the next two cards. 16. Are you flipping kidding me? 16, which breaks down to a 7. Go inward. It's time to connect with your inner child. That inner child needs some healing. That inner child, whether your responses are to be the people pleaser or to be really defensive and bite back at the hand that feeds you kind of thing, because you're worried or you're perceiving that things are coming across in a different way than maybe the person intended, and then there's the escaping, the avoidance of engaging in those difficult conversations to figure out what's actually going on, or the avoidance of taking a deep breath and going inward so that you can figure out what's going on for you, is putting you in this place that you feel like you have nobody. But guess what? You do. 7, 7, 7, 7, 7. Lots of sevens. And notice that on this, you've got the beautiful colors, the background that even looks like the, what is it? The Northern Lights, Aurora Borealis. Is that how you say it? And she has this beautiful butterfly wings on. This is a time of transition, and we've got the colors of yellow, which is the solar plexus chakra, being able to release those anxieties, being able to let go of these unhealthy patterns that you have engaged in because of that inner child hurt and pain. It doesn't even have to be to the point of trauma. We all have some kind of hurt or pain. It can be something someone said, even well-meaning. Like if you ever had a relative say, are you sure you need that second portion? Or do you think you should focus more? Do you think you should, did you really pay attention? Did you really try your hardest? And they may be well-intentioned, but it still hurts. So trauma doesn't necessarily have to be big. And then we're going to use both of those. So this card is for be still. Cultivate a space of stillness and silence to just be. And that, yeah, this card is wanting to come forward, but that reiterates that message of being more mindful, taking time to sit in quiet, to write down or consider, meditate, whatever it is that's going on for you, to be in tune with your body. We don't even do that. I was watching a video earlier, and it was just like a quick little meditation type thing. And so I had my eyes closed, I had my hand on my heart, like the lady was talking about, and all of a sudden she goes, now remember to take a breath and unclench your jaw. And I know you've probably seen the memes where people say it, and all of a sudden I was like, oh crap, I wasn't breathing very much, and my jaw is really tense. I wasn't mindful of my body. Most of the time we're not as mindful of our emotions, our body sensations, our feelings. And so you have to take a moment to be able to focus on it. All right. So we're actually ending on a 7, and it's my favorite card too. All right, 22, let it come forth. Give yourself permission to feel it. And that's the thing. As I said, we're not always in tune with our body and what we feel or even our emotions. And especially if we're somebody who has put ourselves on the back burner to focus on and take care of others. Sometimes that has a dual purpose in coping, because you're also taking your mind off of what you need to focus on for yourself and dealing with your own hurt and emotions by focusing on helping and healing others. And there has to be a balance. So 22, which breaks down to a 4, which the other card that we got with a different breakdown in the number is 4. So 4 and 4. So 7s and 4 are very important. So the last card that I'm pulling from this deck, it feels like the final, is number 25, listen. And like I said, it's my favorite card. It's so beautiful. It's the first card that I pulled when I opened this deck the very first time. Your inner child has something to say. You got to listen to that inner child, and it's not always easy. And some of the messages may bring you to tears, and I love how that is also the image that is in the bottom of the box. When I saw that, I was like, that's so beautiful. And then I pulled this card after shuffling through the deck that very first time. Oh, we'll go ahead and read this. You can do hard things. You can. All right. Wow. Like I said, that inner child deck I knew needed to be something that we looked at. The bottom of this deck, geez, is 3, the power of silence. And this is very root chakra centered with all that red. So that grounding, as I talked about earlier, really getting into your grounding and allowing yourself to go wherever feels peaceful. And notice there's also yellow in this card, balancing out that solar plexus chakra, letting go and releasing some of those things. All right, we're going to see if there's anything else that wants to come out of this intuitive Whispers Oracle. And any of you that have watched me use this deck before, you will know that I chose it partly because it's beautiful, but also the creator's name is Maud Hurst, and my great-grandmother's name was Maud, and it was the second time I'd ever seen, well, I mean, I saw my great-grandmother's name before, but the second person where I'd ever seen that name. And so with the ancestors being a big part of today, it felt important to share that. These cards are not wanting to shuffle very well, so I think that's saying, Rebecca, 34 on the clock, just do the thing. Just do the thing. Oh, Yeah, the messages, we're going to end the message soon. Is there anything else? 28, so this breaks down to a 10, and 10 often is that sign of completion. We have a chest that has a lot of gemstones. There's a lot of flowers, that new growth. There's a sun in the background, which can be new beginnings. It can also be joy, healing that solar plexus chakra, and it says gift yourself. So that is the message. By going into that more introspective state and being able to allow yourself to feel body sensations, emotions, not just the thoughts, but the emotions and the body sensations, and to release them. Sometimes we may need to do that through movement. Sometimes it may be writing, art, whatever it is. But allow yourself to let go. For some people, your final mission and your soul contract for this life, the thing that releases you and completes 10, completion, that soul contract, is being able to transmute all those negative things, all those hurts, all those pains into something beautiful where you take back your power. You come from a space of love for others, for yourself, for that inner child, for the people who hurt you. Not because that you have to go and tell them I love you or I forgive you, but that you say, you know what? I understand that what you did, you may have even felt justified in. You may have thought that things were going on. You may have felt hurt. But I do not hold responsibility for your perceptions. I do not hold responsibility for your experiences and your pain. And I am now releasing those. I am releasing those. And I apologize to myself for holding on to them for so long. It is time. It is time to let go of that cloudy judgment. Let go of that cloudy judgment and release. 37 minutes. What a beautiful message. I hope that whoever needed this, it gets to you. If you feel like somebody needs it, please feel free to share. This will also be uploaded on TikTok and YouTube. I know TikTok, it's pretty long for a TikTok video, but if you're drawn to them, you're drawn to them. And if you're not, you're not. I'm not offended one way or the other. My main goal is if you need the message, you get the message. 3725-777. Take care.